Somehow I'm gonna explain to you how Cars 2 is the best Cars movie. It's so bad that it's so good. How do I explain this? I really like spy stuff, and I just, I don't know. My favorite movie of all time is The Brave Little Toaster. And it gets those types of vibes from me because maybe maybe John Lasseter, yeah, John Lasseter worked on this, but I don't know if he worked on this, but maybe some of the same people did. I'm just saying that Cars 2 is just so funny because it's just so bad. Like I it's hard to explain. It's just like this whole movie, like, it's clear that Mater's not a spy. And then, like, these spy people, like, totally don't get that he's trying to tell them that he's not a spy. And somehow, at the end, spoilers alert, the bad guy was a coincidence, like a conspiracy theory. Like how bad conspiracy theories connect, that's how bad that the bad guy was connected at the end of the movie. It's unbelievable, like how bad, like like Mater could have had everyone blown up by a bomb at the end of the movie, but for a mere coincidence, he's like, hold on a second. That your engine is just like the other engine that's thousands of other engines out there. It just I like the idea of um like outdated cars in this. Coincidentally, the Brave Little Toaster has a lot of like the worthless scene at the end of the movie has all these cars that are about to be um, uh, you know destroyed by the Crusher, and then in this movie there's a lot of outdated cars called Lemons trying to like that turned evil because of them being outdated. So I like really like that concept in this movie. I just wish that they made it more like there's good lemons out there. They're not all evil. I think that would have been a lot a lot better for the metaphor. But this movie doesn't make any sense to begin with. Like there's a the race scene could have been erased 100% in this. Erase, get it? Because it's a race. Erased. I think like it tied to the plot later, um, with like all the cars blowing up and stuff. So like, I still don't understand how that happens. Like, oh, and this car got brutally murdered. Like they didn't show it completely, but like they blew up. Like I like dark things. Like of course my favorite movie is A Brave Little Toaster. So they literally murder somebody in this movie. Like that that is up my alley. Like I have a dark sense of humor, and like of course this is Darktoon Network. So it's like all dark cartoons. Like this is a dark movie if you really think about it. All these outdated cars like being treated like garbage, literally, because they're pretty much garbage, and then they go against, somehow it's a political message, like, about the all in all. So all in all, uh I'll explain how it's better than the other two movies in a little bit. I'm still explaining this movie, but all in all, what ended up just being gasoline, and he blew it up. It's kind of confusing, um, but that's what makes it beautiful, because it doesn't make any sense. And like, if you want to turn off your brain and watch something that just, all the all everything that just doesn't make sense, this is a perfect type of movie. Now, the first movie, I like all three movies. The first Cars movie was, it was really good. It was about a race car learning to humble himself and getting humbled, like an arrogant jerk car becoming a good person at the end, and literally giving up the race for somebody else because Chick Hicks wrecked the King's car, and he pushed King to the finish line and uh, finished last. I I I used to It's hard to say this is my favorite movie because I watched that movie over and over as a kid. I loved it, but again, there's not much dark in that movie. And this is Dark Toon Network. There's there's nothing like Brave Little Toaster. Again, is my favorite movie. There's a lot of plot convenience, like inconveniences, but I think that's what makes it beautiful, because it's just like a mess, and it's funny because coincidentally there's one guy, like, for example, there's one guy in the woods, and he heard this radio. He happened to be in the middle of the woods and got all got all the appliances. It doesn't make sense. Um, and I think Cars 1 made too much sense for me personally. It it was kind of like there's probably a lot of other movies like Cars 1 out there where the jerk young hotshot learns to humble himself at the end of the movie. So, even if it was a really good movie, I feel like it's been done before. This was never done before. This is something. And then the I third movie, I really love the third movie. I think it's my second favorite. But again, it makes too much sense that the 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 older race car has to learn to humble himself again, that he's old, and learn from these legends how to race now that he's older, and let the young race car show herself and becoming the mentor. I think that's really cool. I like the idea of being like older, outdated, just like in this movie. But again, we've seen movies like that before where the old race car kind of learns to humble himself. But at the same time, I think it was unique that they helped the young racer. We might have seen that before. I'm not too sure, but that's just something you could make a movie about the third movie or the first movie. This movie is off of left field. This is about a spy movie. There's racing. There's political commentary. There's darks. There's people like there's battleships. It's crazy. Like this movie, like it's just so unique, and it's hard to replicate that and say that the first movie and the third movie that use tropes that have been probably been used before. This is so original. This is so unique. And a lot of people clown on this because it is technically a bad movie, but it's because it's so bad that it's good to me. That's why it's you turn like I said, you turn off your brain and you just forget about the world. You forget you go into this fantasy land of cars being bad because they're outdated or old, and having a conspiracy theory and spies and Mater not being a spy, and they just don't know, like they're that stupid. It's because this movie is so bad that it's my favorite. I like what technically I would consider The Brave Little Toaster. Some people could say it's a bad movie. I don't think it's quite there up with Cars 2, because Cars 2 is a bad movie. This movie a lot of people actually like because it makes some type of sense. This movie makes no sense whatsoever. So it's fine if you want to watch a movie that's been done before and does a good job at. I understand. But if you want to watch a movie that's truly unique and not like anything else and just really, really funny, watch Cars 2. Leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new. This is Dark Network, where we talk about dark cartoons and sometimes other cartoons. I'll see you when you watch me again, metaphorically.